okay, I've gained a slightly bit more respect, considering that I'd lost all respect for Bob, but he then loses it again in this article. And we're going to read it, or we're going to go through it. It's called How to Be a Grown-Up, and I'll leave a link to it down below. This is going to be fun. But as you'll see, this is the problem with Bob. I find myself wishing that I disagree with friends and colleagues on important matters more than I do, because I would like to be a great evidence for the truth that I don't really fall into an ideological lockstep with, well, any one thing really. You can swear up and down that you move that you own more than one pair of shoes, but if someone only ever has seen you wearing that one pair, you can't really prove it. That's his opening. So what do we get into the crux? Well, Bob continues, in the spirit of that, I don't agree with some of the points made / research cited in the final few minutes of the most recent Tropes vs. Women installment. Oh my god, Bob, are you criticising Anita Sarkeesian? Are you a misogynist? Because I'm sorry, Bob, I have seen people make this argument to you, and you've called them a misogynist and a sexist. Or you've called them names, or you've just hand-waved them away, naysayingly, like you did when I showed you Jordan Owens' video. You just said, oh, these arguments are just commonplace, and you didn't even bother when I asked you to elaborate on the fact, why do you think they're commonplace? You know, you just waved them away. But no, you see, this is what all of us, and in a moment, what all of us have been saying right from the very beginning, what you have been doing to us. You've just been waving us away and calling us trolls, or calling us misogynists. How dare we not believe what Anita Sarkeesian is saying, and all this other stuff that is plain to see on your Twitter. You know, don't deny it, it's there for everyone to see. But good on you for, you know, taking a critical eye to Tropes vs. Women. Congratulations, but you lose it in a moment. At least, not in the broadest sense. I do in fact think while the ability of art and media to influence the psyche, beliefs and behaviour of those who consume it is undeniable, that it is also entirely possible to not be influenced in a negative way or tangible to a degree by it. Sorry, Bob, that's a cop-out. You are saying, well, I think people can be influenced, but on the other hand, I don't think they can be influenced. What is it, Bob? I'm sorry, but at this point, again, in my last video, I said, what is the difference between Anita Sarkeesian and Jack Thompson? They're saying the exact same things, and yet no one seems to care. And oh yeah, by the way, Bob, this isn't the first time Anita has done this. She did it in her second video where she basically said that, hey, there's a lot of wife beating, people play a lot of games. That's pretty coincidental, don't you think? That's literally what she said in her second video. Anyway, continues. I know this because I've played more violent video games and watched more sick, depraved movies than anyone I know, along with viewing pornography, sleazy softcore television, occasionally attending establishments like Hooters or even strip clubs, and yet my actual real-life beliefs and behaviours still get me labelled a social justice warrior. Yes, because that is what you are doing when you are marching in step with people like Anita Sarkeesian, who are spouting off nonsense, and by God, you are daring to criticise her. Again, if I or anyone else had said this to you, or written this article and sent it to you, you would have been saying, oh, well, you're just a sexist because you just disagree with her. And don't you dare deny it, because you have done it. By the internet troll community. There's two possibilities to be drawn from that. Either I'm some kind of superior next level evolution of human being capable of consuming and processing ugly media without negative effects, or any human being sufficient intelligence and self-aware can do so. I'd like to think I'm one, but it's probably two. That being said, those final bits at the end aside, I would like to call it inaccurate to call it the episode's conclusion. If you're a gamer, and if you can watch the succession of clips involving sex workers, NPCs in games, and be more than just be a little bit fucking embarrassed for the medium, here's the thing. Most of these games that she's using, the game designers wanted to create a real-world environment. And guess what? Sex workers exist in the real-world environment. You know, she uses a thing of Hitman, where you go into a strip club to you know, assassinate someone. Of course you're going to see sex workers. Of course you're going to see these things. In Dishonored, you go to a brothel to rescue Emily. Of course you're going to see prostitutes. You know, what do you think you're going to see? And yet, Anita just goes, how dare they put these, you know, people in there who exist in real life. And if you went to some of these places, you'd see this exact thing happening. And yet again, all the criticism that I sent you in Jordan Owen's video and Trox's video of where they brought up all these points, you just hand-waved away. I don't know what to say about this, much like the montage video laying out the depressing sameness of gaming protagonists at this year's E3. It's pretty damning when you see it just laid out in the open like that. Well, to be honest, in context, there's only, what, one level in Dishonored where you go to there, and to be honest, it's not like the prostitutes are everywhere, scattered all over the game. There might be literally just in a couple of points in one certain areas of the game. They're not everywhere, and just showing it like that, you know, if you think that gaming's rife with prostitutes in games, then I'm sorry, that's completely wrong. And again, congratulations, Bob, on criticising Anita Sarkeesian, but you don't go in depth. I think you're, to be honest, scared of actually going in depth. And to be honest, Bob, I'm going to lay out a challenge for you. You won't do it, but here you go. Watch people's criticism videos. I know you've done it. I know you've done it. So watch them. And why not, on your Game Overthinker, write an article about some of the points that some of the critics of Anita Sarkeesian have been bringing up. You know, be a grown-up about it. Have a look at their points. If you don't think they're right, then present your arguments why you don't think they're right. If you think, as you said in your comments, if you think these are so commonplace, then you should have no problem in disproving them. Again, all the videos are out there for you to see. Criticism of Anita Sarkeesian. And I'll give you a crumb. Kite Tales, The Internet Aristocrat, Jordan Owen, Trox. Those are just 4 channels who have done criticism, and very good criticism. The challenge is there for you, Bob. You know, the ball's in your court. Whether you either just hand-wave me away, or maybe you actually will be a grown-up and actually do what you claim to be, an academic, and look at both sides holistically and say, hey, the other side, the criticism people, have a very valid point to make, rather than just hand waving them away.